Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, I want to share with you the story of a young king whose name has echoed through history for more than 2,000 years. Before we begin, think about this for a moment. What were you doing at the age of 20? Most people at that age are still discovering themselves. They are studying, dreaming, planning their future. But the man in today's story was leading thousands of soldiers into battle. He was crossing unknown lands. He was facing enormous armies, and he was winning. Again and again. He never lost a single major battle. Some call him a genius. Others say he was dangerously ambitious. But no one can deny that he was extraordinary. His name was Alexander the Great. This is the story of how a young prince from Macedonia became one of the most powerful rulers the world has ever seen. Alexander was born in 356 BCE in the Kingdom of Macedonia, located north of the famous Greek city-states. His father was Philip II of Macedon, a strong and intelligent ruler who had transformed Macedonia into a powerful military nation. His mother, Olympias, was deeply religious and believed that her son was destined for greatness. From childhood, Alexander grew up listening to stories about heroes, gods, and legendary warriors. His mother often told him that he was connected to Achilles, the great hero of the Trojan War. These stories filled his imagination and gave him confidence. He began to believe that he was meant to achieve something extraordinary. One famous story from his youth shows how different he was from other children. When Alexander was about 12 years old, his father purchased a magnificent black horse. The animal was strong and beautiful, but it was also wild and uncontrollable. Many grown men tried to ride it, but the horse threw them off. The king decided it was useless. But Alexander noticed something others had missed. He realized the horse was frightened by its own shadow. Calmly, he turned the horse toward the sun so it could no longer see the moving shadow on the ground. The animal relaxed. Then Alexander climbed onto its back and rode it successfully. The horse was named Bucephalus, and it became Alexander's loyal companion for many years. His father was amazed and proudly told him that Macedonia was too small for his ambition. Alexander was not only brave, he was also highly intelligent. His father hired one of the greatest philosophers in history to educate him. That teacher was Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander studied philosophy, science, medicine, literature, geography, and politics. He developed a deep love for learning. Even later in life, when he was marching across continents, he carried books with him. His favorite was the Iliad, the ancient epic poem about heroic warriors. He admired Achilles and dreamed of achieving similar glory. When Alexander was 16 years old, his father left him in charge of Macedonia while he went to fight a war. During this time, neighboring tribes attacked, believing that a teenage boy would not be able to defend the kingdom. They underestimated him. Alexander organized the army, confronted the attackers, and defeated them. It was his first military victory, and it proved that he was capable of leadership. At 18, he fought beside his father in a major battle that secured Macedonian control over Greece. He led cavalry forces with skill and courage, showing that he was not simply a prince, he was a warrior. But soon tragedy struck. When Alexander was only 20 years old, his father was assassinated. Suddenly, he became king. Many people doubted him. Some cities rebelled, thinking the young ruler would be weak. Alexander responded quickly and decisively. He marched south and forced the rebellious cities to submit. One city that resisted was destroyed completely. It was a harsh decision, but it sent a powerful message. The new king was not to be challenged. Once Greece was secure, Alexander turned his attention to a much greater goal, the Persian Empire. At that time, Persia was the most powerful empire in the world. It stretched across 3 continents. Its ruler was Darius III. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed into Asia with approximately 40,000 soldiers. Compared to Persia's vast military resources, his army was small. But Alexander believed in strategy, discipline, and destiny. His first major victory in Asia came at the Battle of the Granicus River. Despite warnings from his generals about the danger of crossing a river under attack, Alexander charged forward. The fighting was intense, and at one moment he nearly lost his life. A Persian soldier struck his helmet, but he survived. His close companion Cletus saved him by killing the attacker. The victory opened the gates of Asia. As Alexander moved forward, he captured city after city. Some surrendered peacefully, others resisted and were defeated. He secured coastal territories to weaken the Persian navy, showing that he was not just brave, but highly strategic. In the city of Gordium, he encountered the famous Gordian knot. According to legend, whoever untied the complicated knot would rule Asia. After examining it, Alexander drew his sword and sliced it in half. Whether this fulfilled the prophecy or not, the story symbolized his boldness. When faced with an impossible problem, he created his own solution. In 333 BCE, Alexander faced King Darius III directly at the Battle of Issus. The Persian army greatly outnumbered his forces, yet Alexander's tactical skill allowed him to strike at the right moment. He led a direct charge toward Darius. Seeing the Macedonian king advancing, Darius fled the battlefield. Once again, Alexander achieved victory. The final and decisive confrontation came at the Battle of Gaugamela in 334 BCE. Darius assembled a massive army on open ground, hoping his numbers would guarantee success. But Alexander studied the terrain carefully and formed a precise battle plan. Using disciplined formations and a powerful cavalry charge, he broke through Persian lines. Darius fled again. With that victory, the Persian Empire collapsed. Alexander entered great cities such as Babylon and Susa. He gained enormous wealth and control over vast territories. But he did not stop. He marched eastward into Central Asia and India. He crossed harsh landscapes and faced unfamiliar enemies. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River, he confronted King Porus and war elephants. Despite the difficulty, he won the battle and later treated Porus with respect, allowing him to rule as an ally. By this time, however, his soldiers were exhausted. They had marched for nearly 8 years. They longed to see their families again. When Alexander wanted to continue deeper into India, his army refused. For the first time, he could not move forward. Reluctantly, he agreed to return. The journey home was brutal. Many soldiers died crossing deserts under extreme heat. Eventually, they reached Babylon. Alexander began planning new campaigns, but suddenly he fell ill with a high fever. For days, his condition worsened. His soldiers visited him one by one, many in tears. In 323 BCE, at the age of 32, Alexander died. The cause of his death remains a mystery. Some believe it was disease, others suspect poisoning. We may never know the truth. After his death, his vast empire was divided among his generals. It did not remain united for long. Yet his influence lasted far beyond his lifetime. He spread Greek culture across Asia. He founded cities that became centers of trade and education. He connected East and West in ways that changed history forever.
He was brilliant and courageous, but also ambitious and sometimes ruthless. His life reminds us that greatness often comes with complexity. More than 2,000 years later, we still study him. We still debate his character. We still admire his courage. From a young prince in Macedonia to the ruler of one of the largest empires the ancient world had ever seen, his journey was remarkable. He teaches us to think boldly, to act decisively, and to believe in our potential. But he also reminds us that even the greatest leaders are human and that life is fragile. This was the story of Alexander the Great, a story of ambition, intelligence, bravery, and destiny. I hope you enjoyed listening and improving your English at the same time. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep discovering the incredible stories that shaped our world.